Trudeau, by the way, and this is important here, starts with some severe disadvantages, two disadvantages. First, his own personal standing is at rock bottom. He's very unpopular in Canada, set to lose the next election. His time is up. He's been Prime Minister for a long time. Canadians are ready for a change. That's what they're telling the pollsters. The second thing is that, of course, Canada has this long and unpleasant record of looking away from Khalistani violence and just tolerating it, pandering to Khalistanis, to the point that today in Canada, yes, it's completely normal to parade through the streets on Vaisakhi Day with life-size pictures of the mastermind of the Air India bombing of 1985. 300 civilians wiped out for nothing, completely innocent civilians. There's a very serious record of violence and murder, not by the Indian state, but by Khalistanis. And this time it seems that Trudeau has decided, and the Liberal government has bought the idea, that the problem isn't the Khalistanis, it's the Indian government. So we all understand that this is how has been interpreted as going nuclear by the Indian government.
What is happening in Canada? Is it your sense that if the government changes, and you seem to think that Trudeau's hit rock bottom in his popularity, that this issue goes away, that the Conservatives are not happy with the way Trudeau's handled this? What's your sense?
Well, no, I don't think much is going to change. Historically, the Canadian parties have all played footsie with the Khalistanis. They haven't been that different. The Liberals have been the worst of all, but they've been in power a little bit more. So I don't think that change of government in Canada is going to change the facts. I think as I said earlier, that we should start looking towards the judicial process. Consider the report in the Hindustan Times yesterday that CC1, the alleged mastermind of the so-called murder for hire plot to take out Panoon in New York, has been arrested. And that his contact in the intelligence organization, intelligence agencies within India, has been indicted on what are called local charges. What does that mean? It means that he's not going to be extradited to Canada and face Canadian justice, doesn't it? It means they're cooking up you may call it a dirty deal, but a deal anyway, whereby the alleged masterminds of the criminal activities in Canada, which India formally denies and Canada accuses them of, that these may be resolved by sweeping them under the rug. Mr. Vikram Yadav, alleged by the Washington Post to be the important figure within the government who hired Nikhil Gupta for this murder plot, he may meet the same fate, where he gets minor charges. A couple of years later, they let him out quietly. There's no press release. Nobody knows about it. So they'll let him off lightly. And in return, the two sides will reach an accommodation. I'm talking not tomorrow. I'm talking in the longer term, many months down the road. Government or not, any government in Canada is going to have to resolve this somehow. Any government in India is going to have to resolve it somehow. I see a deal being made whereby the crimes are sort of swept under the rug and there's a token accountability. India desperately wants Canada to shape up in terms of cracking down on Khalistani militancy and extremism, and these scenes where pictures of eulogizing and glorifying the Air India bomber and many other Khalistani martyrs and assassins, gun-toting hooligans, really, where this is not approved of by prominent politicians and even by the government. So I see a deal is possible and even likely, but I don't see it coming soon.
Yeah, like I said in the beginning, it's going to get a lot worse before it gets any better.